Cellular respiration. This equation looks remarkably similar to photosynthesis. But in photosynthesis, organisms make glucose, but in cellular respiration, organisms break the glucose down to make ATP. So you can see in here we have three stages: glycolysis, Krebs cycle, and electron transport chain. So in the first step, glycolysis. This step takes place in the cytoplasm, and this step does not require oxygen, aka it's anaerobic. In glycolysis, glucose is converted into a more usable form called the pyruvate. Glycolysis usually takes a little ATP itself to start up, and the net yield from this step is approximately 2 pyruvate, 2 ATP molecules, and 2 NADH. Now, an intermediate step occurs. The 2 pyruvate are transported by active transport into the mitochondria, specifically the mitochondrial matrix. In the mitochondria, pyruvate is oxidized, then the 2 pyruvate are converted into 2-acetyl-CoA, which will be used by the next step. In this step, carbon dioxide is released and 2 NADH are produced. Step 2. Krebs cycle, also called the citric acid cycle, and it still occurs in the mitochondrial matrix. The citric acid cycle is considered an aerobic process. While the cycle doesn't directly consume oxygen, some of the events in the cycle need oxygen to continue. Carbon dioxide is released. We also produce 2 ATP, 6 NADH, and 2 FADH2. In step 3, the electron transport chain and chemiosmosis. We do require oxygen for this aerobic step. This is a very complex process. So, electrons are transferred from the NADH and FADH2 to protein complexes and electron carriers. The electrons are used to generate a proton gradient as protons are pumped across to the intermembrane space. All these protons being pumped out into this intermembrane space generates an electrical and chemical gradient. So, in chemiosmosis, the protons travel down the electrochemical gradient through a portion of the ATP synthase, powering it to make ATP. So, oxygen is the final acceptor of the electrons. When oxygen combines with 2 hydrogens, you get H2O, which is water. And as you can see in here, the total ATP produced is 30 to 38 net ATP molecules per glucose molecule. And from the glycolysis, we have produced 2 ATP. Krebs cycle, we have produced 2 ATP. And the electron transport chain, we can produce 26 to 34 range of ATP molecules. And our total is 30 to 38 ATP molecules per glucose molecules. That's it. Thank you.